Hello, everyone, and welcome to Twillow Talk. I'm Tanys Coughlan from the Twillow Lifestyle Community, Twillow Lifestyle Academy, and I am joined by my beautiful co-host, which I'm not sure which way she is. Nope, that way. That way. We're all mirrored on here.
Somewhere on the screen.
Jennifer Jurkofsky. How you doing, Jen? It's a crazy day.
It is a day. It is a really interesting energy day.
It is, indeed. Well, we got lots going on, right? We have a solar eclipse coming up. When's that? October 2nd, we have a solar eclipse, and then we have a lunar eclipse on October 17th.
Yes.
And I understand we have some transits, and we've got
transits.
Oh yes, transits. And what do we got for our solar flares? Let's just take a quick look there. I think we've had 2 M class in the last 72 hours or so. Yep, we had an M1 and an M1.7. So not too bad in terms of how high they are, but still there. They became present. And and we've had a fair bit of activity here in terms of the Schumann in the last bit. So it's funny, sometimes I think they're in my mind they're supposed to be connected. They're not connected necessarily, but in my mind they're supposed to be. And so I think, oh well, if it's quiet with flares, then it's quiet on the Schumann. Yeah, apparently not. We got all of this in the last day or so. So if you're feeling a bit discombobulated, that would be why. And we have a power of 52 at the moment. So of course that's supposed to be 7.8 hertz. So we've got a very high Schumann again. So this would be, and here's our solar flares while I've got it up, right? So we have these guys here. And so we're doing the do with all of that.
We got so much going on. It's a little wild. And I mean, we look at, retrogrades and that kind of stuff. Like our nodes are actually just coming out of retrograde. So nodes all about direction. That's all been in retrograde, right? So there's been a lot of stuff coming up around that. And then like all of the outer planets have been in retrograde, right? So working our way in. Pluto has been, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus have all been in retrograde, right? So when we look at the energies and the energies around what they hold, there's a lot of reflection and inner work needing to be done. And I mean, it can be exhausting.
Well, it's not just this lifetime we're clearing, right?
No.
So we're also doing like past lives and all sorts of stuff. Yeah. So,
yeah,
it's
all coming up, and it's beautiful, but
it's messy.
We got to give ourselves lots of love, lots and lots of love right now.
It's awesome and messy. It's kind of like when you're a kid and you're playing in the mud. It's awesome, but it's messy. Yeah, and a little gritty.
Yeah.
So, yes. So we should say hello to some of our best chatters here. Yeah. We have Joyful Journey. Hey, Jen.
Hello.
How's it going? And we have Brenda. Hello. And we have Gerald.
Hello.
Hey, Gerald. Thanks for joining us. Brenda says it's been an odd day, and it makes sense. Feeling a little loopy, messy, and tiredness.
Yeah.
Yes, that about sums it up. Loopy, messy, and tired. This is our energy update for today.
Yeah. Well, and we look at, where we're at in the transits, and we're going to actually do 2 today because we're going to be switching over on the 2nd. Right. So we've only got a couple days left of this one, and then we're going to be rolling into the next. So right now we are in the gate 18, and the gate 18 is about correction. It's work on what has been spoiled. The gate 18 energy actually moves from the shadow of judgment into the siddhi of perfection through the gift of integrity. Right? It's a logical, observing, discerning kind of gate. And we use those words and we often immediately go right to the mind, right? But this is not about thinking. This is really about our intuitive knowing and connecting through the heart.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Perfection.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a recovering perfectionist. What does that mean for me?
This is the beauty of it, because perfection in this way is not about there's one set way, right? It really is about coming home to ourselves, right? So the energy of this gate, like parenting has a lot to do with it. Emotional and mental well-being has a lot to do with it. And so what we end up doing with this gate is we're beginning to confront parental conditioning, right? We're going to understand what made us how we are and start to undo those damaging patterns that came from childhood.
Aren't you looking forward to this?
Oh, it's lovely. We're coming to the tail end of it right now. So, I mean,
this explains a lot, actually.
a lot of what's been going on, right?
Absolutely.
In this sense, when we move through with the gift of integrity, it's about coming home to ourselves, about being true to ourselves and living that truth. And that's what leads to perfection. And in this case, perfection isn't getting it right. It really is about our mind, our body, our spirit, our thoughts, our emotions, all of it actually coming into harmony. Right? It's a very different way of looking at perfection. And
harmony.
Harmony.
And balance.
Yeah. Right. And we recognize that, the idea of perfection and the flaws of perfection are mind things, right? They're all like machinations of the mind. Whereas when we move into truly perceiving from our heart, all of these things can come together, right? And we begin to move beyond that fragmentation that we've lived with our entire, time here. And so it's a big shift in terms of recognizing the work that we have to do within ourselves, right? In order to be able to, one, recognize the conditioning that's there, right? And then have the ability to confront it with love and see what we want to actually change in it, right? And so it's
that C word.
Mm-hmm. But we move from, the mind tries to dictate so much for us, right? Mm. And this shift is about the mind and the heart coming into connection, right? And the heart's able to actually take the lead.
Well, that's a good thing, because we want to do that. We want to lead with our heart. We want to lead with love, right?
Yeah. And that's, really that's the energy that we're in. So if we notice, right, like the victim pattern of it is falling into judgments. So if we're in a place where judgment is coming up for us a lot, we have to recognize it and go, okay, what is happening right now? Where is this coming from for me? Right? Am I in a state of inferiority or superiority with my judgment?
Right.
Right? How is this showing up for me? And what do I want to do to shift it? Right? And shift that energy. Yeah.
Are you guys feeling what I'm feeling?
Well, now then, from there, we're going to move into the gate 48. The gate 48 is about depth. It's the well.
Ooh, look at that. That's a pretty card.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Right? It's the, and this is, we're looking at that fear of inadequacy, right? So notice, like the work that we're doing, right? We're shifting from this place of recognizing this conditioning and recognizing these patterns and things that we want to change. And then we're moving into this energy of, can I even do this? Am I good enough? Am I okay? Am I going to be able to? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we move in this gate 48 from the shadow of inadequacy to the gift of wisdom, or sorry, to the city of wisdom through the gift of resourcefulness. Right? So we begin to really kind of look at what of these things that we want to work with, how are they showing up for us, and what is the best way to really tap into our inner wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And
And
that's usually the heart, right? So we're back
Mhm.
to that heart stuff.
Yeah, because this fear of not being enough, right? We have this because of so much of the conditioning that we've experienced in our lives. And because we've lived in a place of, judgment and comparing and all of the things, right, that get us caught up in the other idea of perfection, right? And
Right.
what that is. And of course, that's going to lead to fears of inadequacy if we're still trying to, as they say, measure up,
Right.
right? One of the things that Richard says about this gate is he calls it the wonder of uncertainty, right? And I really appreciate that energy in terms of this, because if we can stay in that wonder, it's not about being inadequate. Really, it's about the resourcefulness piece, right? What can I be open to? So much of that open and curious that we talk about so often.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Can I hold space for what's possible and then allow that knowing to come to me? It's interesting. The archetype for the 48 energy is the librarian, right? And the idea that all of that information and all of that wisdom and all of that is there inside of us, right? And it's memory. And you're talking about healing, through generations, through lifetimes, through all of that. Well, all of
Yes.
that wisdom and all of that knowing is also there and accessible to us if we're in a place where we're able to receive it.
Are we not supposed to have Gerald on this show because we're talking about librarians and
Right?
and all of that? It seems like it would have been a good show for Gerald to be on. What are you up to, Gerald?
Yeah. Well, and it's so interesting, right? Because we get into these places with all of these energies and we can get stuck in them, or we can, get into a place where we use them to move us forward.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And being able to kind of tap into all of that.
Brenda's saying add him. Well, if he's willing
to, he's welcome to jump on.
Yes, we can send him the link, but he just needs to let us know. And then hello to Steph. Hey, Steph. How's it going?
Hello.
Good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just keep thinking about Akashic Records now because you're talking about the librarian and going back and healing lives and all of that stuff. So that's what is coming up for me in terms of perhaps you, if you would like it. You, if you would like one.
Yeah. I mean, we have access to such depth of wisdom, but I think that we spend so much time caught up in, the different shadow aspects that come up for us that we don't often open ourselves to it as much as we could. Looks like a link is being sent.
A link is being sent. Hello to Jacqueline. Hey, Jack. Steph is here.
Exciting.
Oh, thank you. We're here every Monday at 5 p.m.
So glad you're able to join us.
There you go, Gerald. You're getting a hooray for coming on.
Very exciting.
I'm going to have to change our little paper here. Where are we? Our little overlay.
Behind the scenes.
We have an overlay for this. I can't quite see which one it is, but hello, sir.
Hi, what did I walk into?
Jen was talking about librarians.
Oh, well, I'm not a librarian. I was never a librarian this lifetime. I worked in a library, so
Yeah,
I don't have my degree.
No, but you work in the Akashic Library.
Oh, well, yeah. There I run a whole freaking, yeah.
Yes. You sound very far away, my dear.
Oh, do I? Hang
Yeah.
on.
And I don't know where the right branding is here. Let me see if I can find the right branding now. There we are.
Is this any better? Is that any better?
Oh, there it is.
Much better. And I love your t-shirt.
Thank you. You like that?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Look, he's got merch, guys.
And I matched the background. Isn't that fun?
It's awesome.
Very cool.
It was meant to be.
Hi, Brenda.
It's really interesting. We all have blue today.
And we do.
Something in the
Different
energy.
shades. Yeah. That's awesome. Hi, Hypnocity. Oops.
Mhm.
Oh, love your royal blue nails.
Yeah.
That's Gerald today. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Very, very nice.
City.
Hi.
Hey.
It's funny because I was just like going, I wonder who Tanys and Jen have on today. I wonder if I can weasel in on that because I was sort of done. It's the end of the month, and I did great readings with Linda de Gonzalez, Purple Elephant Deb H, and
Nice.
they were really good readings. And I was like, So
Oh, cool.
Very
thanks
good.
for getting my message.
We got it.
We got it.
I got it. You're welcome.
So, yeah.
So tell us about the Akashic Records, Gerald.
What do you want to know about them?
Everything.
All right.
How does it work for you? Because everybody has their own style.
Okay. Akashic records are an energy field of are energy records for everything that has been, is, and will be.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And with that in mind, they can be, you can look at a single stream of energy. You can look at multiple streams of energy and how those streams intermix. You can, they are not limited by time and space, only by the person that is accessing the records. A lot of people, when they access records, they have assistants. They have a librarian who helps to retrieve the information that they're looking for. So just like with anybody can, I hope, get a library card, they can access this information. So,
Very cool.
so yeah. And so they can tell me about my, well, you can through some other resources on that. This one is definitely, it's an energetic feel.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of understanding of history. If you believe in free will, soul contracts, they are also they are interdimensional.
Mm-hmm.
Off planet, whatever you want to call that, because I think there's definitely an intermixing of all of that stuff, or that's how I experience them.
Well, you've certainly seen with me, there's been like, it's almost a two sets or something, right? There was the galactic stuff and then the stuff here.
There is and part of that may be me as the reader. So me as a reader is I am a firm believer. I'm able to have access to whatever it is that is necessary for the person for whom I'm reading.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times, and for a long time, I had no idea that I was accessing Akashic records. This is just when I did any readings, whether they were tarot, oracle, channeled messages, I was accessing a place. And for me, it's where I go to, where I access the Akashic records. So,
well, you've done this for many lifetimes too.
I believe so. I believe so. I believe I have a unique relationship with the Akashic records that I'm discovering.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I may have said this before. Good friend and I, she has a friend who does Akashic record attunements, and it's just like going, well, you don't really need attune to it because you're already accessing it, she was told. And she and I were talking about it, and she was like going, oh, I was doing some Akashic record stuff, and there were people there and all that stuff. And I'm looking at her and I'm like going, there are people in your Akashic record library? What? She says, oh yeah, you go up to the desk and ask for help and, fill out the appropriate forms and all that. And that just wigged me out, because I was just like going, I have never seen anyone else in the records where I access them.
I thought there was one when we went one time.
Well, okay.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
When I am there, and I am not, yes, we did see somebody, but that was very much a passerby, somebody who was just checking in on the area. But for the most part, nobody shows up for me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, and it probably depends on who you're reading for too. I would imagine each person is unique as well.
Yes. So I don't know if this is interesting for the people who are watching. Comment so that I can know that there's some people who are finding this interesting. But so
they're so interested. They're
glued to the screen. They're watching and listening.
So yes, for me, I know recently I discovered that part of my light language access is how I view the records. I have, for the 30 plus years, I was there
you go.
It's very interesting. I want more. Okay. Thank you, Brenda. But for me, it was I would do readings for people, and I would go to this place, and I would have these scrolls or these tablets that would show up, and while I'm answering the questions, symbols would show up.
Mm-hmm.
Do I know what those symbols are? No. Could I draw them? Probably not. But I found out recently that is a form of light language. That's how the language activates for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm able to my hi Alana. But it has for me it's been a growth process, because as I grow and evolve, like many of us, my access is different. So as Tanys had mentioned, I'm starting to I can tell somebody may be off-planet related. I'm not necessarily able to, at this point, access the off-planet records as of yet, but I know where they are stored.
I just heard coming soon.
Okay. Coming soon. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
So, but yeah.
To a Twillow Talk near you. Yes.
There you go. So yeah. So yeah, it's an energetic record of everything that was, is, and will be. And depending upon how you access it, it's like with anything with energy, it's not really time or space related. And how it's woven together is significant. I think there are more people who are discovering that their access to the divine or to their intuition is much more, what's the word? Related to the Akasha and the energy. So
I have a question for you. Do you practice on it, or how do you develop this when you're working on someone? So stay tuned.
I think somebody would like me to teach a class on that. That requires me to slow down enough to actually figure out how it is. It's shut up. It's one of those things for me. I do have a very deep and lengthy connection with the records. So I have an understanding that is complicated, intriguing, and multi-layered, and I would say multi-dimensional.
Oh, definitely multi-dimensional.
So
for sure.
What's fun is when I have the access to, when I'm reading for somebody, I can do it in like live readings, things like that. It's an appetizer. But when I'm doing a reading for somebody, I am able to, and it's appropriate, I get really woven in and connected and drawn in. And I know some Akashic Records readers do a beautiful job. They can see visually what's going on in different past lives. I don't necessarily see it visually. I'm not clairvoyant. I'm much more clairsentient. And oftentimes for me...
and clairaudient too.
Clairaudient, yes, clairaudient.
Because you hear it a lot too.
Yeah. And so, Brenda, part of what's interesting is for me, a lot of times, if I'm reading for somebody, there is oftentimes someone that is a guide or an angel or whatever you want to call it, whatever form it takes for you. That person sort of is present. They might be a bit of a go-between. Sometimes a translator. So the Akashic Records they're extremely fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're only limited by the possibilities. So there are people who I would love to do readings for, one of them, he's been on the camera with us before. And I'm like, I would love to do a reading for that person.
I'm sure he's open.
I'm like going, dude.
I'm sure he's
total access. Well, and these two, they're not connected at all.
Yeah.
How many lifetimes have we discovered? I think almost all of them.
Many.
Well, and right now it feels like there's 6 of them significantly influencing this one.
I would say that's true. Yeah.
Significantly influencing. And by that is just like, and Brenda, since you're watching and you're curious, it's the idea of as I do that, there is oftentimes it's not a Rolodex, but it certainly could be. It's a card catalog, so to speak, because libraries are cool. Everybody should go to them. But it's very much for me. It's like I get off of the records, like for each of you, the symbols for the lifetimes that are crossing and impacting. So there were about 6 of them.
Awesome.
So, okay.
But we were doing some healing work on one of them yesterday.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. It's a big one that's influencing not just us, I think, right now, many people at the moment. So,
well, and see, here's the beauty in it is, am I talking too much?
Not at all.
No,
okay.
You're making our job easy. We just need to show up and ask questions.
I'm so glad I can help.
Thank you.
I think what's interesting is people can have access to the records if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Hey, Amanda.
Hi, Amanda. People can have access to the records if they want to.
Yeah.
And if they believe they can. It's it can be as complicated as you want it to be, or it can be as simple as you need it to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I had an interesting experience the other day, actually, with the records, because I'm not particularly, I have not delved into that in terms of practice in a big way, other than doing soul retrieval work, which sort of does it in a different kind of way. So this was it was a clearing for a past life thing that was connected to something in this life. And I was going back because it had shown up in a couple of different lifetimes. And I had to clear the original one in order to clear this lifetime for that person. And so they were showing me, you talk about a Rolodex. It was almost like, those big racks of magazines that you have hanging. It was almost like I was flipping through one of those. I was with Jen and I'm like, this one. And then I'm doing my work and I'm like flipping through the different lives, like they were on this magazine rack. It was fascinating. I'd never done it before. And this particular one was like that for me.
Yeah. I have to say that kind of similar in some ways to the way that I experience them, because it's an energy field, right? That is Akashics. And so I often feel like I'm just going through a Rolodex and I'm just like, right? But it's energy. And it's like, oh, that. Okay. That's the one, right? And you're just like, oh, got it.
And I would say if a visual helps you, great. If science helps you, great. If math helps you, great. If music helps you, graphic novels, gardening, if that helps you, I think it's one of those things. I don't know about you all. Maybe it's just me. I overcomplicate things. Oh,
I think our brains do that automatically, don't they? They tell us stories.
And there's probably, there's some human design in that, I'm sure. But it's what's really interesting for me. And if you all feel that way, I want to know in the chat. It's challenging for me, but when I'm doing it for someone else, like when I do it for Jen and Tanys, oh yay!
Yay!
when I do it for others, my ego attachment is not involved, so the channels are clearer.
Yeah,
I find that with all reading for me.
Yeah,
I'm not good at reading for myself. I'm much better at reading for other people.
Yeah. And it's interesting when you say that with ego attachment. Like there are times where I've gone through and I've seen a life and I've kind of gone, no, that couldn't have been me, little old me. No. And then somebody else comes in and goes, so you had this life, right, where this thing happened and you were this person or this being, and you're like, I guess that's true then, isn't it?
I've done that on a few. Where I've been in denial. And then it's always those that you get confirmation, because that's for me the one that was like that that I ended up with so much confirmation was the Egyptian one, That one was pretty strong in terms of, like I just said, that's not me. I can't be that. And unless you guys give me a whole lot of confirmation, I'm not stepping into that. And of course, then it was like every second day for a week and a half, there was something that was coming up to confirm it for me.
Yeah. I'm also there. Look at me. There's the ability of we have the option of leaning into it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Some people call that free will. Some people call it destiny. I'm not getting into that. I think it's one of those things. This stuff will still be there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going anywhere. I mean,
yeah, but to Hypnicity's comment, right? With knowing more about my past lives, help me make good decisions or good discernment, right, in this life. And I think that it could go either way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We can get caught up in past lives and get caught up in things that have happened there, so much so that we're not as present in this one. And we don't want to do that either.
Mm-hmm.
But, to what Tanys was speaking of earlier, every time Tanys does a card reading for me, because we do them for each other fairly often. And there's this one card that comes out every time. And I'm like, I don't understand why this card comes out. It's about not worrying about my family, that they're safe and that they're taken care of. And I'm always like, I know they're safe. I know they're taken care of. I don't understand why this card keeps coming out for me. This past time that the reading happened, Tanys also pulled a card that had to do with healing past life wounds. And immediately it clicked that I was healing a horrible wound from a life long ago where ultimate tragedy hit in my experience, and I lost everybody. Mm-hmm. And I went, and I just bawled. Like I just broke down and sobbed. And in that moment, I was able to release that and realized that even though in this life, I feel like, okay, yeah, my family is safe. I know that they're cared for and all of that. This undercurrent was there that I wasn't even aware of.
Mm-hmm.
That was still kind of infiltrating the way that I was showing up and what I was doing and the way that I was navigating different situations. And so being able to heal that heals that space for me now as well.
And I would guess, if I can say, Jen, you would not have been ready to hear that back when she first said those words to you. Your family's safe. You would not have been able to understand it. And I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but you would not have been able to understand the layers and get rid of the varnish off of the painting of your life, mm-hmm. so that suddenly the varnish is gone and we can see the true beauty of the pigment and how it interacts mm-hmm. with the canvas and the underpainting. And suddenly I'm talking about art, but there's this significance to that, because when no one is going to people need to do research. They need to understand before they try to use a new tool. Mm-hmm. So if I have a laser and I don't know how to use that laser and I start using it, I'm not going to be helping. I'm actually going to be hindering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting as you're talking about that, because it's a lifetime that I've been aware of for a long time. And I've done bits of processing through it. But the way that things unfolded leading up to that release were such that I was at that moment finally ready, right? To allow myself to go there and see, as you're saying, the full spectrum.
Of what that's a good word. There. Full spectrum.
Well, and I think, in this particular instance too, there were some other factors that were lending their energy to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There was somebody here that was related to that past life. And so for some reason, all of her energy and that really pulled it up. And we were able to share that healing, I think, with all of us. And I because he's getting emotional, Jen, was he there too? That was what came to me when we were talking. And he said,
yeah, maybe we need to dive into that at some point together.
Yeah, I think we need to, because it's one of the ones that's influencing right now. It's one of the big ones that's influencing right now.
Yeah.
So hypnicity, Nalani asked the question, would knowing about past lives help me to make it's a bit up there? I want to talk about that because would knowing more about my past lives help me to make good discernment decisions in this life? Maybe. Only if, look at me, I'm pointing. Hi, Gerald's good some stuff. But here's the beauty in this is, everybody thinks, oh, if I understand what the past life was, then it doesn't control me. That is not true. Because if you understand the past life and what was going on, you still have to unweave that.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to go, I accept this, I don't accept this. And it's sort of it's a skimming, and it's an understanding, and I think it can help you make informed decisions. It can understand a bit. Can it predict the future? No. Stop trying to make it. And Akashic Records things are really powerful ways of engaging with your life fully. You're teaching teachers use pointers. Oh my gosh. Am I teaching? Okay. But so now I don't know what I just said. There's this, okay, scroll back a little bit and hear what I just said. But there's this, it can help you understand. However, until we, it's like getting a download. We don't get jacked into the matrix like we saw in the movies. Sometimes it feels like we get close to that, and it's like freaking awesome. However, there's this, gosh, I really wish I remembered what I was saying.
Sorry, re-interrupted your train of thought.
No, it's okay. But there's this idea of it informs what's going on. It gives you a broader range. Go back to that word spectrum. It allows you to see the spectrum. It allows you to rotate your head a little bit so that you can see more than just this. It gives you the ability to see this or this. And, writers don't start, don't wake up one morning as a 2-year-old and write a novel. They start to learn their ABCs.
And my experience with those things, the value for me in past life is actually going back and doing the healing work on that. So I'll often, if something comes up for me, like what Jen had, for instance, and she did similar, I go back and I do the Ho'oponopono. So I'm more visual, so I tend to go back and I visualize that. And this is the process I take a lot of my clients through. We go back and we visualize something that represents that lifetime. And then I'll do the Ho'oponopono because I'm actually carrying the energy in my energy system related to whatever happened. And sometimes I don't know what it is that I'm carrying necessarily until I start to delve into those. Because when I was, so there was this one lifetime where I was it was, how do I want to say this? There was a violation there, and it was pretty nasty. It was Middle Ages where that kind of thing happened. And I had always sort of felt like I was hiding something from myself. You know, when you feel like you're just missing something, there was something that I just wasn't remembering, and I didn't know what it was. And I had this past life come back to me. It was actually one of the first ones that came back to me. And I literally was sitting sobbing as this came back as a movie in my head. And once I did the Ho'oponopono on it, all of a sudden I didn't have that feeling anymore. I wasn't feeling like I was hiding something from myself. And so that wasn't really from this life, but I perceived that it was. Like I always thought that maybe it was, but it was a past life. So there is that sort of, you carry the energy of the past life trauma,
residual energies
within your system too. Yeah.
And to what you were, what you were saying too, Gerald, around, understanding the differences between the lives, because I think it is important too. Sometimes we'll look at a past life and either we'll have a knowing in that life, or we were able to do something in that life, but that's not meant for us in this life. Or we've had a connection with somebody in a previous life, and that's not meant for us in this life. And, we feel that, and we feel those things sometimes deeply. And I think that, there are times where we get caught up in, making decisions based on those things, which aren't actually aligned with what our experience is meant to be right now. And so we just have to be very mindful of, what is the purpose of that knowing? Why is it coming to us? What are we meant to do with that? And then move from that place, because as to what Tanys was saying, sometimes we're just meant to know and heal it. Sometimes we're meant to gain understanding from it. Sometimes it is meant to empower us. It really depends on the experience, on what's going on what our journey here and now is. And so there is no, as you were saying, there is no yes or no. It's all maybe.
It is. Yeah. It really depends on the case and the person.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I think it's fascinating. I think Nalani said something, is it possible? Do we really have to be stripped to bare wood to fully heal? No, you don't, because let me tell you, sometimes it's the beauty in the wear and tear that makes an antique as valuable as it is. I think they call it provenance. It's like knowing the history of it and how it came to where it is. And there's the story. It's like, if you do that, look at me, if you do that, it's like washing everything away. And the idea of starting with a clean slate might sound attractive. I am patina. Yes. I'm a firm believer that all of my experiences make me who I am, flaws and all. And without those experiences, I may be something different.
Yeah.
And that speaks to Brenda's comment here too.
And Brenda, that's a really powerful question. There's a lot of healing opportunity in that, I think, because it is, can we erase the past and create our own life as we please? I don't know you, Brenda, and I'm going to speak out of turn, so my apologies. It's like, Brenda, you have much more power than you realize, and much more power than you are willing to embrace, because it's like a youngster learning to ride a bike without training wheels. You need somebody with training wheels to help support you. And I don't know why, Brenda, I'm getting emotional about that, but there's this beauty in it. It's like you've got a bike, and that's like freaking awesome, but you want to ride it. You're wanting to ride the bike perfectly instead of I'm perfectly imperfect. You want to ride the bike perfectly, but I have a scar right here about right there when I was learning how to ride a bike. And so there's this beauty, Brenda, of it's like, yeah, those are things that happen. Should you wear a helmet? Should you wear your gloves and all that stuff? Absolutely. Should you have somebody that you trust help and support you? Sure, I would.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Hi, Brenda.
I don't not Brenda, my apologies. I have no idea what I just delivered. So does experience makes us who we are. You're totally right.
Yes.
Well, thank you. I don't hear that very often, so I'll take it.
Well, and this is the thing, right? Like we can be victims to our experience, or we can use our experiences to move us. And we get to decide what direction we move in. And I think that's the biggest part. When we look at, past experiences, traumas, all of that kind of stuff, we can allow ourselves to be defined by them, or we can go, okay, now what? Right? What do I want to do from here? And when we talk to, with clients and all of that, one of the biggest things that comes up is, I don't want to have to go back and relive my trauma. And it's like, you don't have to, but you do have to recognize what those experiences, how they're impacting you today. And if you can recognize the impact that they're having on you today, you can do something different.
Yes. That's beautiful because, Jen, I remember saying something like that to a therapist. It's like, if you were just going to sit here and I'm going to rehash it, I am not in for this. Yeah. And she looked at me, she said, good, because you want to go from where you are and you want to understand how it's influenced. Great. I can help you with that. I said, well, good. Let's get to work.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And so that's the thing too, when we're looking at Akashic records and we're looking at our past lives, again, we don't want to come into that reliving experiences. We don't want to get stuck in them, right? Everything is an experience really for experience sake. And so what we do with it really has to be up to us.
Yes. Yeah. And Amanda says, I was told by the Crown Zone that I have some gears, I would say fears and phobias, but I do like gears.
Yeah.
They do move us forward.
Yes.
Get stuck sometimes.
It's all from a past life that are affecting me now. Have not done yet, but plan to write down and burn at some point. Feels right thing to do.
Yep. Awesome.
Great. Feels right
do
to
what
me
works
too.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're like me, it doesn't always take the first time, so I've got to do it 3 times total.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah. And, like so many things, if we're able to recognize whether it be a past life, whether it be from conditioning, whether it be from social pressures, whatever it is, if we can recognize where something is coming from, we can take power back.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. Well, in that, a lot of times, I think there's a beauty and a power of looking at records.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying records just to understand what was.
Yeah.
And I'm talking people doing genealogy. It's really powerful to know that for some people. And simply going, okay, I get this. Or I have this feeling something's going on, and you can have a reader, a skilled reader suggest, gee, it feels like it may be in Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And if something rings true for you, get curious and explore it a little bit.
Exactly. Thanks.
Yay. So yeah. And, there's records are there. I mean, think about it. It's like a book. Mm-hmm. I can buy a book. It only works if I open it up and start to read it. I'm not telling people how to read a book. Some people start from the front cover and go to the back cover. Some people will open it up and look in the index and start from there. Doesn't matter, but at this point, it's not necessarily possible to do things by assimilation. I know. I'm very disappointed in that. I mean, I'm very, very disappointed. This is my disappointed face.
I'd like to be able to, like sleep on the book and get all the knowledge.
Well,
Like
yeah,
get
that would
by
be
assimilation that way.
Yes.
I know.
I
What's his name? Crowley used to do that.
Oh golly. My website, if anybody who has been on it, there's a little Easter egg page on there that is my office assistant, Rabia, my cat. And one of the courses that she teaches on my webpage is to learn by osmosis.
She must learn a lot, though, being in your office.
Yeah, and I think it's the thing. It's just like going, you have a library card, but do you use it?
Yeah.
And by the way, there is nothing wrong with borrowing a book and looking at the pictures and taking it back.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of it is I don't know why I'm lecturing on books, but there's this importance of
It's in the energies.
There you go.
It's in the transit library. Librarian.
Is that how we got started? This transit.
That's how you got on. Yeah.
Like I said, I stepped away for a second. But there's this,
you missed so
I mean,
much. Came back and suddenly you're here.
Yeah. So there's an interesting thing. It's just like going, if you need a recipe,
Mm-hmm.
is it on a little recipe card? Is it on a scrap piece of paper? Is it in something from a magazine that's been ripped out? Is it from a huge cookbook that's the only book, that's the only recipe that you use? It doesn't matter. It just matters that you can find the recipe when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
Stop trying to limit it. And, and yes, you can start to learn to cook with training wheels on, like on your bike, Brenda. Just saying. Brenda, would it be more exciting for you if you had those little, either would you have a bell on your bike, and would you actually have those streamers that come down from the handles?
She's definitely a streamers girl.
Because if that's and that's the thing, if that is what makes it interesting for you to show up, then do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If do it.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, diamonds in the sky too. Look at there.
There you go.
There you go.
Nice.
I think Brenda is the kind of person who probably needs a playlist, an inspirational playlist. And I don't know if Brenda would do well with one of those mirrored balls.
A disco ball?
A disco ball.
I like how you start this.
Yeah. Well, and I have my disco ball helmet.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
you could actually try. So one of the techniques that I tried one time was actually pretending that my auric field was a disco ball.
Oh, nice.
Because then anything that came at me just flickered off. It was lots of fun.
I love that.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I use roller skates. I love the disco ball. There you go.
Awesome.
Yes. Cool.
Yeah. I guess our topic was Akashic Records.
It looks like it.
That's
so
perfect.
do you have a card that you're supposed to pull?
Yeah, Kaylee's not on to remind us.
They're
I'm
here.
just saying.
I got them out.
Saying.
Thank you for stepping in.
Oh my goodness, my husband just picked up the mail and all of the packages that I got for stuff that we're doing.
Hi,
Thank
Jeffrey.
You, Jeffrey. He says hello.
Hello, Miss DJ.
I'm his DJ.
All right. So the card that we got, be interesting to see how it reads. It says,
That was weird. Sorry. On my screen, my picture did something weird.
Oh.
Sorry. Didn't mean to
Go
interrupt.
into nature.
Nice.
Okay. So let me just find this. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. I was looking at a card. I totally missed it.
Yeah. It was weird. It was like a blippy thing.
All right, here we go. Your Earth Mother is calling you to enter her realms. Do you feel the pull? She wants you to walk amongst the beings who heal and nurture you, for you are disconnected from the natural world. Go to a park, lie down on the grass or the snow. Go to an area where you no longer hear the roaring noise and sit amongst the wildlife. For the wild ones are your brothers and sisters, and they honor you. Your physical body needs the loving attention of the natural world, grandchild. Being amongst your relatives in nature produces feelings of well-being and calm. These good feelings are needed to live in a balanced way. Receive them, turn off your distractions, and return to nature, where you can hear the songs being sung to you.
So hold that card up. Are those disco ball flowers that they're holding up?
They look like disco ball flowers.
They very well might be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we were talking about the disco ball shielding.
What's
so
really
folks can just boogie on away.
You know,
from your disco
even
ball.
just this idea of going into nature, right? And talking about how we can connect with our relatives, our ancestors, right? It is still very much this idea of truly connecting with the resources that are there for us, right? And we really want to be mindful of that. And it's interesting, like I have gone for walks in the past and had beautiful visions of things that have come to me from, you know, previous lives or other dimensions or all kinds of things. And so, you know, the more we allow ourselves to feel connected, to feel grounded in whatever way that is for us, the more we're going to be open to all of this as well.
Well, and it brings so much clarity, you know, when you can go and hug a tree.
Oh, yeah.
It brings clarity.
Mm-hmm.
I have this magical tree configuration in my backyard right now, and
Mm-hmm.
5 trees in a circle. And so I go out there, and there's one that's like the grandmother tree. She's kind of the one that created them. And I'll go out and hug her and just let her tell me what she needs to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Before we bought the place that we're at now, I talked to the tree, the main tree on the property, and got a feel. And she let me feel the land and let me feel what the area was like and all of that. So it's quite beautiful.
And so for those of us who don't necessarily want to spend a lot of time outside, just walk to the end of your sidewalk in the grass if you have grass.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Every little bit helps.
Or
No, let
even
me
play with
rephrase
your
that.
plants.
Yes. Every little bit gives you an opportunity to connect with more possibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And whether that's tapping into nature or tapping into your Akashic records, it holds true.
and how are those different?
Are they?
So,
I laid down on the cool, wet ground last night to look at the stars. It was nice.
Oh, yay.
Beautiful.
that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks for letting me crash. I don't know what I was getting into. It was just like, I have to watch the playback.
careful what you wish for.
I
I hear things.
Well, because it was, I was listening and, I had to go in. So I missed part of the transits. And then all of a sudden it was something about something and somebody sending a link. And I'm like, what?
It was wonderful to have you, as always, Gerald.
Thank you.
We so appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you.
We always look forward to the shows that you join us. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a bonus. It was a bonus.
World shop.
Yay!
I love it. My goodness.
And thank you for joining us, Brenda.
Mhm.
It's beautiful. You know Gerald. Yes.
Yeah.
A beautiful bonus. There you go.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't remember anything I said really, so do remember I was pointing.
Mm-hmm. Good channel.
It was all good.
So good. Okay.
It was all good. Yeah.
Woohoo!
It was definitely channeled. Jen and I sat and looked and listened. You were meant to. It's how
Yep.
it works.
Here you go.
It's how it works. Thanks, Amanda.
Yes, I agree, Amanda.
For sure. Thank you. So what have you got going on this week, Gerald?
Tomorrow I have another back and forth with Jamie and Gerald. Art Mancy part is coming, and it's part 2 of our Art asking us questions. We had such a good time last week. They agreed to come back, and then I'm doing readings with Linda de Gonzalez, and
Nice.
those some of those are Akashic record related.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah,
She's a great reader, for sure.
and I just have to say, there's going to be so much fun stuff coming in October and November. Just subscribe to the channel.
Mm-hmm.
There's stuff coming.
Yep. So Tarot Stash. Go take a look. Here. There you go. See? Right there.
Yay!
There we go. And yes, on his chest as well. I don't think I should do that. Okay.
Is that a different show?
I think so. Not a family show.
Oh my goodness.
Jen, what have you got going on?
Well,
Hey, Lynn.
that is it for me for this week. But next Monday, before this show, I'm actually seeing Gerald at 2 Eastern.
Very good.
And we're supposed to be talking about mental health.
Human design and mental health.
Mhm.
Yes.
Very cool. That'll be a good one to be on, you guys.
Mhm.
So that'll be on Tarot Stash.
Yep. And it'll be on My Holistic Self.
Yes.
Yes, that too. Hey, Annie.
The other direction.
Other side, Jen.
Oh, the other side, right
Yeah,
there. Yes.
that's
the
one,
mirroring
right
thing.
there. It is the mirroring thing. Hey, Annie.
So, did something great start this weekend for the two of you, or for just Tanys?
Both of us.
Is that something?
Mine was
you
a couple
can
weeks
share?
ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we started the Peacekeepers of the Light program. Our very first one of these. It's been in about 3 or 4 years in the making, at least. We were told about it probably about 6 or 7 years ago. So it's pretty exciting.
Long time coming, but
We had our first one on Saturday.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a 2-year program. So, yeah, great group.
Mhm.
We're so excited. And then, 2 weeks ago, I started the Galactic Shaman program.
Nice.
So that was another one that's been a couple of years in the making. And that was started too. So we got all sorts of new stuff coming. And I think there's a few, wait, which way is which? There's a few that we're trying to, talk someone into.
Which program?
It has to do with maybe the conversation we had.
Akashic Records, Tarot, just saying.
Mhm.
We're hoping to recruit a new teacher for the Twillow Lifestyle Academy.
Stay tuned, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe to everyone's channel so you can be updated. I don't know.
Love it.
So, and then for me, I have, well, with Twillow Lifestyle Community, we have Marketing with Heart.
Oh,
So
nice.
that is with Gary Chatham, who has been in the marketing industry for over 25 years and is also a shaman and a Reiki Master and a counselor and coach. And so he is teaching that on Saturday at 1 p.m. And I'm teaching, that one is online. It's with Twillow Lifestyle Academy. And I'm also teaching a level 3 Reiki, but it's in person.
Oh, nice.
So that's for Ottawa people. So that'll be fun. And yeah. Oh, yes. And I'm starting a channeling class tomorrow night. 9-week program. Fascinating. You learn so much about yourself and your guides and how to tap in and all of that stuff. It's a fun class. So if you're interested, that is also at twillowlifestyle.ca on the events. So take a look. That one is virtual. Yeah. So that could be, you can be anywhere for that one. So it starts tomorrow night, 7 p.m.
Eastern.
Be there or be square. Yes. Sorry. I grew up in that age. It's, it sticks. There's nothing wrong with being square, to be honest.
I just want to be very clear. A square is a lovely shape.
It is.
No judgment for squares. Circles, triangles.
No judgment for any of those now. But, that's just it dates me.
I'm sorry.
It tells you how old I am.
Yeah. Okay.
It just tells you how old I am. It's all good. So we have a busy time coming up in the next few weeks. And so we are super excited that you all joined us today. Final words, Joe?
It doesn't have to be perfect. And stop limiting the possibility of your success.
Beautiful. Jen?
All I keep getting is, it's okay, you've got this.
Mm-hmm. And mine is breathe. This too shall pass. Mm-hmm. So we'll leave you on those thoughts and wishing you all so much love and an awesome week. And we'll see you back here next week, 5 p.m. Eastern for Twillow Talk. Take care, everyone.
Bye.